Hello and welcome to Forever Motorsports for the Brazil Grand Prix team rankings video. Today I will be ranking all of the teams from the best to the worst over their performance in the Brazilian Grand Prix. The 2023 Brazil Grand Prix saw three different teams on the podium with Max Verstappen, Lando Norris and Fernando Alonso representing their respective teams. The Brazil Grand Prix was an exciting race from the start to the end, with multiple teams and drivers not finishing the Grand Prix. Here are the team rankings from best to worst. In number 1 we have Aston Martin. Now this might come as a surprise after Verstappen's dominant race weekend, but there is method to our madness. Aston Martin had a brilliant weekend out in Brazil, not only having the pace in qualifying sessions, with Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso qualifying in P3 and P4 for the race on Sunday, but also challenging for the podium positions. The sprint race was a blip in their performance for the weekend, however Sunday's race saw the team return back to their form, with Fernando Alonso showing us a masterclass in defence against none other than the Minister of Defence, Sergio Perez, who despite being in a faster car was not able to get past Fernando Alonso before the checkered flag. The team went on to secure a great haul of points though for the weekend, with their drivers finishing in P3 and P5 for the race on Sunday. Number 2, Red Bull. Red Bull were up to their usual dominance this weekend in Brazil, with Verstappen taking both race victories as well as pole for the Grand Prix. Sergio Perez had a great comeback weekend for himself after a disappointing home Grand Prix. He went on to take third place in the sprint race, as well as he fought to the line with Fernando Alonso during the Grand Prix to try and secure P3. He went on to lose out though by 0.005 tenths and had to settle for P4 in the end, still giving him a great points haul to extend his gap to Hamilton for P2 in the Drivers' Championship. Number 3, McLaren. This weekend, McLaren were able to secure their second pole position for the sprint race this season. However, Lando Norris lost the lead to Verstappen into turn 1 and went on to secure P2 by the end of the sprint, with Piastri failing to bring in points down in P10. In the Grand Prix, Piastri was unfortunate to get tagged by one of the Haas's into turn 1, which left him with damage to his rear wing. The team were able to fix the damage though during the red flag period, but he was left one lap down for the remainder of the race, and he finished down in P14. While Norris tried to hold on to the back of Verstappen till the end of the race, and went on to secure a P2 finish for the team. Number 4, Ferrari. A disappointing weekend for Ferrari as they had the opportunity to challenge for the win on Sunday, with Leclerc having put his Ferrari alongside Verstappen for the race start, and Sainz qualifying down in P8. But once again, Charles Leclerc was struck with misfortune as he suffered a hydraulic failure on the formation lap, sending him and his SF23 careering into the wall in turn 6. The remaining Ferrari of Sainz finished the race in P6, bringing home 8 points for the team. Number 5, AlphaTauri. AlphaTauri have had a massive surge in performance over the second half of their season after bringing their Red Bull style upgrades. This helped them to do really well in the sprint qualifying, putting themselves in P6 and P8. Ricciardo fell out of the points in the sprint, while Tsunoda finished in his quali position. The race start on Sunday saw Ricciardo's wing get broken by a flying tyre off of Albon's Willams. Ricciardo's car was luckily able to be fixed during the red flag period, but he was a lap down and would be running out of sync for the remainder of the race. He went on to finish down in P13, while his teammate had a better race finishing up in P9. Number 6, Alpine. Alpine had a relatively good race weekend. However, aided by 6 drivers DNFing from the race on Sunday, they still went on to score a double points haul and finished in P13 and 14 in the sprint race. Hopefully their better performance this race weekend will raise the spirits of the French squad, who have had a less than perfect 2023 season. Number 7, Mercedes. This weekend was the worst performance we have seen from the Mercedes squad all year. At a track where we were expecting to see the Mercedes possibly challenge for the win, they really fell short. Possibly caused by going in the wrong direction on their setup on the only practice session on Friday, this caused them to struggle for performance all weekend long. The sprint race showed the first signs of the issues for the Mercedes team, as their performance in the latter stages of the sprint race indicated that they were battling with high tyre degradation. Russell finished the sprint in P4, while his teammate finished down in P7. Sunday was even more dismal for the working squad, with George Russell having to retire from the race on lap 57, while Lewis Hamilton only managed an 8th place finish. Number 8. Williams. Williams seemed to struggle in Brazil this weekend, with the British squad still trying to get to grips with their car at higher downforce circuits, which saw themselves finishing the sprint race in 15th and 20th. Albon would have been hoping to get into the points on Sunday, but that was unfortunately short-lived, as he got tagged into the first corner by Hülkenberg, causing his car to crash into the barriers, causing the red flag early on in the Grand Prix. His teammate, however, aided by all of the DNFs and stricken cars, managed to get himself right outside the points into P11. Number 9. Haas. The Haas duo didn't have the greatest of all weekends, despite having taken pole around the circuit last year. This year's outing was far less productive for the team, with both drivers failing to score points in the sprint race, and their Grand Prix getting off to a bad start with a first corner incident involving both of their cars. This caused Kevin Magnussen to have to retire from the race, while Nico Hülkenberg went on to have a decent race in the end, but he fell just 2 places short of the points at the checkered flag. Number 10. Alfa Romeo. Alfa Romeo had a terrible weekend out in Brazil, being the first ones out in both qualifying sessions, as well as both of their cars failing to get near to the points in the sprint race. During the Grand Prix on Sunday, both of their cars failed to get to the checkered flag, and had to DNF from the race due to reliability issues. So this takes us to the end of our team ranking for the Brazil Grand Prix race weekend. Do be sure to let me know who your standout driver for that weekend was. Mine certainly was Fernando Alonso, being able to challenge Sergio Perez for that P3 position right down to the line, and just made it a really exciting Grand Prix race weekend for all of us. Do be sure to like the video and subscribe to the Forever Motorsports channel. I've been Reece on Forever Motorsports. Cheers.